The Secret Bimbo Cove, MILF's Threesomes 52, MFM Threesome Erotica, Anal Sex Erotica. Written by Nicki Menage. Narrated by Kline. The Secret Bimbo Cove, MILF's Threesomes 52, MFM Threesome Erotica, Anal Sex Erotica. Vietnam had been the trip of a lifetime. I traveled mostly by train from the bottom of the country all the way to the top, and now I found myself in Ha Long Bay. It was my friend Lisa and her son's idea, really. She'd planted the seed, and her son Charlie and his friend Cameron had both encouraged me to try something new and cut loose a little after the divorce from my husband. They'd visited the country and spoke fondly of it. Against my better judgment, I decided to just go for it, and I'd booked a flight to Ho Chi Minh City before I changed my mind. The return flight was a month later at the opposite end of the country in the north. I'd already had the most amazing time, meeting people and eating new and interesting foods, but the water was something I'd stayed away from until now. Ha Long Bay was a hard spot to ignore at the end of my trip. The place had really cleaned up its act, and now the inviting turquoise waters beckoned you in, without the previous reminder of our impact on the place. There was hardly any rubbish to be found these days, and the calm waters looked like the perfect place to try something new. My guide was called Pete, or at least that's the name he gave. I got the impression that he told us that was his name because it was just far easier to pronounce. He was well suited to his job. He had this bubbly, infectious personality, but he was professional too. I let out a sigh of relief when he insisted that everyone in our party wore a life vest, despite the protestations of one brash guy from Florida. Pete steadied each kayak as we descended into them from the jetty. My land legs immediately felt ill-suited to the wobbling vessel, but once I sat down in the seat, I found things much more comfortable. Pete didn't exactly give us a chance to get our bearings. The second we were seated, he pushed us back into the water to fend for ourselves. But steering with a paddle is surprisingly intuitive. If you'll excuse the expression, I took to it like a duck to water. For 43 years, I'd managed to stay away from activities like this, and I have no idea why. The worst thing that can happen, really, is getting a bit wet and embarrassed, and if that was all that was stopping me from enjoying myself, then I should be ashamed of myself. But I was doing it now. That was all that mattered, I told myself, as Pete led the way towards the limestone karsts that sprang up out the bay like French fries. I found myself with a contented...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?